When I found the bank statement in my sister's purse on Thanksgiving, I realized everything I'd believed about my family was a lie. The amount was staggering, nearly $500,000. Transfers made over 3 years. From my father's account to Emily. But my father had died 2 years ago of a stroke. Alone. Because Emily said she had a work deadline and couldn't come. And I'd sat by his bedside, holding his hand, reading him the old letters he'd written to Mom. All that time, my sister had been quietly draining the money meant for his care. I folded the statement in half, then again, and slipped it back into her bag. No one noticed. I smiled, past the cranberry sauce. But something inside me died that day. And something else was born, cold, deliberate, and ready to collect what was owed, with interest. Some families fight like wildfire, loud, bright, burning out fast. Mine wasn't one of them. Ours was the kind where resentment seeped in slowly, hidden beneath layers of "we're fine" and "we're family." My name is Sarah. I'm 37. I'm an accountant. I live in the suburbs. All my life, I tried to be the good daughter, studied without reminders, never made scenes, cared for my parents in their old age. Especially my father, Robert. He'd been sick for years, diabetes, then heart trouble, then dementia. Mom passed early cancer. It was just him. And Emily. My younger sister, 5 years my junior. Always the golden child. Beautiful, charismatic, effortlessly successful. She worked in marketing, married a lawyer, lived in a big house with a pool and 2 kids. Me? I was alone. Not because I didn't want a family. Just because, at some point, I ran out of energy to care for anyone else. All of mine went to Dad. Emily visited once a month. Brought flowers, snapped selfies by his chair, posted online, "Family is everything." Then she'd leave. And I'd stay, changing diapers, feeding him, reading to him, listening as he called out for Mom in the night. I never complained. I saw it as my duty. Even when he started confusing us, calling me Emily and her, that nice girl who comes on Sundays. After he died, there was a will. Simple. Everything split equally, the house, savings, retirement account. We signed the papers with the notary, hugged, said, "Thanks for everything." Emily even shed a tear. I believed her. Fool. But then things got strange. The landscaping bill, supposed to be paid from shared funds, came to me. So did Dad's car insurance. When I asked Emily, she said, "Oh, I thought you'd handle it. You always do everything." I stayed quiet. But something clicked. I started investigating. Quietly. Carefully. Using my professional contacts. And I found it. 6 months before he died, Dad began transferring large sums to Emily's account. 10,000 at first. Then 20. Total, $476,000. Officially labeled gift. But by then, Dad could barely sign his name. His hand shook. His memory was gone. He forgot what day it was. How did she pull it off? I didn't know. But I suspected. Either she forged his signature or got him to sign when he didn't understand what he was doing. Maybe told him it was for charity or home repairs. He would have believed her. I didn't call her. Didn't yell. Didn't go to the police. Because I knew, proving it would be nearly impossible. And a public scandal would destroy what little remained of our family, even if it was just an illusion. But I made a decision. If she wanted everything, she'd get it. Everything. The first step was silence. I stopped answering her calls. Her texts, "How are you? You okay? Want to grab coffee?" I read them and left them unread. I gave her room to worry. People used to control panic when they lose access to information. 2 weeks later, she showed up unannounced. Knocked on my door. I opened it like nothing had happened. Offered tea. She got straight to the point. "Sarah, you're ghosting me." "What's going on?" "Nothing," I said. "Just work." She believed me, or pretended to. Left relieved. But I already knew. She was afraid I'd found out. And now she'd be watching me. That's exactly what I wanted. The next phase, documents. I hired a lawyer, not mine. A new one. A specialist in estate disputes. I explained the situation. He said, "Without direct evidence, it's tough. But if you can get a confession, or catch her hiding something, you've got a case." I bought a voice recorder. Small. Discreet. And I set up a meeting with Emily. Told her, "We need to talk about selling the house." I found a buyer. She came with a notebook and a smile. Spoke quickly, confidently, about pricing, splitting proceeds. I asked, what about those transfers? Before Dad died. She froze. For half a second. Then laughed. What are you talking about? $476,000 to your account. In 2023. 6 months before he passed. She went pale. But recovered fast. Those were gifts. He wanted to help with the kids. You know how much he loved his grandkids. He couldn't even remember their names, Emily. She looked down. Then whispered he signed the paperwork. On his own. I didn't force him. You had him sign it when he didn't understand what he was doing. That's exploitation of a vulnerable adult. That's a crime. She stood up. You're crazy. I'm leaving. I didn't stop her. Just turned off the recorder and smiled. That was it. Now I had a confession. Not full, but enough to start. But I didn't go to court. Not yet. Because revenge isn't punishment. It's a lesson. And it had to be personal. Deep. So she'd feel every dollar, every humiliation, every sleepless night the way I had. I knew her husband, Mark, had no idea. He thought their wealth came from his career and her budgeting skills. In truth, it came from Dad. From her gifts. I found Mark's number. Sent an anonymous letter. Not an accusation. Just facts. Bank statements. Dates. Amounts. And one question. Do you know where the money for your pool really came from? A week later, Emily showed up at my door in tears. What did you do? She screamed. Mark left. He says I lied to him. You lied to everyone, I said calmly. Not just him. She tried to hit me. I stepped aside. For the first time in my life, I didn't hold back, not out of fear, but principle. You could have just said you were tired, I told her. That you couldn't handle caregiving. I would have understood. But you chose to steal. Not just money, but his trust. And my belief that we were family. She left. This time for good. But the revenge wasn't over. A month later, I filed a lawsuit. Officially. To void the transfers. To recover the funds. To seek damages for emotional distress. With the recording and witness statements from neighbors about Dad's condition attached. The trial lasted 9 months. Emily hired an expensive attorney. Claimed the money was a gift. Said Dad was lucid. Said I was jealous. The judge asked, then why didn't you disclose these transfers during a state settlement? She had no answer. The ruling was in my favor. All funds returned. Plus legal fees. Her credit score ruined. Mark filed for divorce. Her kids were devastated. She lost not just money, but status, reputation, and the trust of everyone around her. I got it all back. The house. The savings. The compensation. But when I walked into Dad's empty house and sat in his chair, I felt no victory. Only exhaustion. Deep, bone-deep exhaustion. Because revenge doesn't bring back the past. It doesn't bring back Dad. Or the sister she was before greed took over. It only leaves you alone with who you've become. I sold the house. Moved to another state. Changed my number. Deleted social media. Emily tried to reach out once. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. Not out of hate. Just because there were no words left. 2 years have passed. Yesterday, I got a letter. Not email. A real one. In an envelope. No return address. Inside, a photo. Us as kids by the lake, holding hands. On the back, a note. Remember when we swore we'd never betray each other? I stared at it a long time. Then I put it in my desk drawer. Not because I forgave her. But because I finally understood, revenge is its own prison. And it was time to walk away. But I won't give her back a single cent. Let her know, trust, once stolen, can't be returned, even with an apology.